Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. This video is made possible by the very kind donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you are in a position to help this channel improve quality and grow, please visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below.
It is the 31st century, and mankind is once again at war. The battlefields of the future are dominated by huge robotic war machines known as battle mechs.
Hello, and welcome back to The Arsenal, a series where we look at the weapons, equipment, and technology of the BattleTech universe. Today, we close out a topic that we looked at previously. A weapon system that can really sting when used correctly. Today, we review the remaining short-range missile systems, the SRM4 and the SRM2. A while back, we looked at the modern long-range missile system and its largest, commonly available launching system, the SRM6. We have also looked at its distant cousin, the LRM systems. However, we still need to look at the remaining short-range missile systems, the SRM4 and SRM2. When the modern long-range missile was introduced by the Terran hegemony in 2295, it solved many of the problems facing the missile systems of prior ages. As the new missile system started to appear on the battlefields of the 24th century, its shortcomings started to become apparent. First, the low damage of the new system. While effective and relatively accurate, the missile system simply did not have the stopping power outside of large salvos. While this drawback could be compensated for by launching LRMs in significant number, the second drawback was more difficult. The new LRM simply could not be fired safely at short range. A mixture of the weapon's arc firing and delay in arming meant the missiles were, at best, unwieldy at close range. Even before the mobility of battle mechs, banking on an enemy being unable to close with you was, let's go with, a bad bet. Military designers went back to the drawing board, but after nearly a century of attempts, they were unable to solve these basic problems. But in failure, weapons manufacturers saw an opportunity. What's better than selling one missile-based weapon system? Selling two, of course. Scientists and technicians freed from the restrictions of an all-in-one system changed things up, sacrificing range to solve their other problems. I won't completely retread old ground here, since we already talked about what made the short-range missile special when we went over the SRM6. But to give the short version, the new missile was a fire-and-forget weapon, packing a punch twice that of its long-range cousins. Taking advantage of the same explosive composite metal structure to count the frame as part of the explosive payload, without the need for as much fuel, battery power for onboard electronics, advanced vector calculations, and control surfaces for indirect fire. The short-range missile could be twice as destructive. Lessons were learned from the battlefield experiences of the LRM. Even with the boost in destructive power, designers knew volley fire would still be needed. During the SRM's development, lab tests were used to develop the launching system. The first deliveries of SRMs were made to the Terran hegemony in 2365, with prototype warheads and launchers. Tests would prove successful, with full production starting and the weapon in its finished form being available officially in 2370. Unlike the LRM racks, war makers would not have to wait between releases. All variants of the launchers, from the petite but proud SRM2 to the beast swarm that is the SRM6 would be in stock at product launch. Similar to LRMs, short-range missiles tend to be standardized. A bay of SRMs weighs about 1 ton and takes up a critical, and gets you about 100 missiles. Sometimes a little less, it depends. As the name suggests, its range is something on the short end of the spectrum. The missiles are accurate out to a range of 3, dropping off some at 6, and while able to fly beyond 9, most of the time the electronics will have failed by then. The SRM6 we have already discussed, but in short, I think it is a fine weapon, deadly when used appropriately. My feelings on the SRM2 is a little more muted. At 1 ton and, well, the weapon is small but does consume 1 full critical, if just barely. The backwash of the missiles will cause 2 heat, which is slightly less than the medium laser. With 100 missiles in the bay, you have 50 shots. So as long as you are not completely careless, you can afford to pull that trigger even if you are just hoping for the best. Its lightweight and small size makes it an option for even the lightest of units. Personally, I don't find much use for the SRM2. With its size, weight, and range, I can't help but compare it to the trusty medium laser. The missile system performs a little better against infantry forces than the medium laser, but swapping out the SRM2 and its ammo for a medium laser and a flamer, you lose a little crit seeking, but I'm willing to drop that for the safety and virtually unlimited use. The SRM4 is a little heavier at 2 tons, but the addition of 2 more tubes really does not add that much size to the weapon, though now fully taking up that critical slot. The improved venting of the SRM4 means the missile backwash will only heat up the mech by 3 instead of the expected 4 when compared to 2 SRM2s. At 25 shots per ton of ammo, a mech warrior can afford to fire off the weapon when a hit is not certain, but should not take complete leaps of faith like with the SRM2. Much like the SRM2, the SRM4 is small enough and light enough that it is carried by light mechs, though granted normally by the heavier side of lights, like the Panther and Jenner. With more of a punch and better crit seeking than the SRM2, the 4-tube is also more useful on larger units and can be found even on assaults. I do have to say that the SRM4 has grown on me over the years. There was a time I looked at the SRM2 and SRM4 as wastes. The SRM4 is a fine weapon when you need some explosives, but don't want to fully commit to the larger and more ammo-hungry SRM6. Clan launchers are, of course, better than our own, lighter and smaller, as all their tech normally is. But I think it speaks volumes that they keep this roughly 700-year-old basic system around, even though they have more advanced alternatives. In the end, a missile system allows for explosive death to be dealt in a compact and relatively low-cost package. Being more or less self-contained, SRMs can be mounted to almost anything. Hand launchers for infantry, small battery stands that can be set up by a squad or bolted down almost anywhere. Weapons like the medium laser are wonderful when you have access to fusion power, or expensive and complex power amplifiers. Sometimes you just don't have that. A pickup truck with a slapped-on SRM4 can damage, perhaps even destroy a battle mech. Yes, the king of the battlefield has countlessly times over the centuries fallen to an insurgent with some hand tools, an old truck, and a trusty SRM launcher. I'd like to know your opinion of the SRMs below. Do you have any crazy SRM stories? I'd love to hear from the SRM2 fans out there. I know you guys exist. Also, if you would like a piece of gear covered, let me know below. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come. Hello, this is Adam with Dream Made Productions. Thank you for watching my content. It really means a lot that you have given me the chance to entertain you. If you would like to support the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Also below is a link for PayPal, or links if you would like to send crypto, if that's more your thing. Please know any amount that you give will be cherished and used to upgrade equipment and improve the channel. You can also help the channel by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, commenting, and sharing my channel with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.